So, I was making out with my phone earlier today, and I discovered something quite interesting about acoustics. So, I have one of my favorite apps here. One of my favorite apps on the iPhone is called Everyday Looper. And what it is, it's a live looping app. So what you can do is record something, and it'll play it over and over again, and then you can record things on top of it, and then make little sounds, make little songs. I mean, it's good if you want to do anything like sort of hip hoppy or poppy that like repeats over and over again. So an example of something you can do with this, if I turn up my volume, you can go, I am singing a note into my phone. I am singing a note into my phone. And then you can record over it and be like, I am singing a note into my phone. And it doesn't sound that good without a metronome and just saying stuff like that. But one of the features of this, or features, it might be a bug, is that you can listen to what's going into the microphone through whatever speaker you're playing out of. So normally that would be used if you have a set of headphones or something like that, and you want to rock out with your headphones, but you also want to hear what things sound like in real time, and not just in your head, but rather through the headphones. In performance, musicians would call this a monitor. And it's a great tool. It's a great way to play around with some sound effects, see if things sound good. But what's not good normally is that the microphone for the iPhone is right here, and the speaker is right next to it up here. So if you have that feature on without headphones, what ends up happening is you get feedback. So if I turn up my volume here, you might be able to hear some of it. Here, I'll turn it up. Not sure if you can hear that, but it's very high-pitched and annoying, and dogs are probably barking at my window or something. And I was thinking about this, and I realized that that pitch, that sound you hear, doesn't really have anything to do with the speaker or the microphone per se. It has to do more with the surrounding area, the resonance of the room, the resonance of the phone, things like that. And it also has to do with just the random white noise. So that's why you'll see later I have the fan on in the background to provide some white noise seeds, if you will, so that I can get more feedback. If we were in an entirely quiet room and this had absolutely no electronic noise or anything like that, we wouldn't really get feedback. But that's not really interesting. What's interesting is that every single person I know is carrying around a resonance chamber with them. And that resonance chamber is your mouth. It's what people use to change vowels, for example, whether you say O or ah or E. Even though those are all on the same pitch, they sound different because of the way that your mouth is shaped. And they sound different, consequently, because of the notes that your mouth accentuates. They're called overtones or harmonics, whatever you want to call them. So I was thinking, what if we could use that to our advantage and play around with the white noise, play around with the feedback of this iPhone app. So I'm going to demonstrate for you. This is why I was making out with my phone earlier. Is you can actually play around and make cool sound effects with the feedback from an iPhone through this app. And so what I'm going to demonstrate now is something. If you've ever tried overtone singing, this is a word you would say a lot. It's more. And by doing that, you essentially go from having your mouth being a very round, full resonance chamber to a very squished E resonance chamber. And it goes through the overtone series. And then if you go more, it kind of goes up and down the overtone series, and it sounds pretty cool. It's the same thing that you would want to say if you go like wow, chicka, wow, wow. It's that same sort of vowel. So if I do that over here, let me turn up the volume on my phone over here. Very feedbacky. So this is the microphone. This is the speaker. I'm going to put my mouth near the speaker and say more like that, and it sounds like this. Like that. So you end up getting some pretty cool sound effects. And sound effects are nice, but I was wondering, is it possible to actually use this to play music, or is this just a cool sound effect? Not to say that sound effects aren't music, but you get what I'm saying. So, in typical new student fashion, I played around with it, tried to play a whole bunch of notes, and now I'm going to perform for you the song that everybody plays when they start an instrument for the first time. And this sounds like this. So this is my feedback iPhone rendition of Mary Had a Little Lamb. And let's see how this works. Yay, it worked! So I think this is pretty cool. It's like an interesting way to like make your body more of how you're playing an instrument without just singing. Um, and I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. So if you have either an iPhone, an iPad, or they might have it for Android, you should check out this Everyday Looper app. It's a really cool way to stay creative. And with that, I welcome, no pun intended, actually pun intended, I welcome your feedback below. Thank you.